All right, Nick, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fresh off a clinch of the NFC South. This is a team that's getting hot right at the right time, and we have all seen what happens when a Tampa Bay, Tom Brady led team gets hot at the right time. We're talking Super Bowl, Nick. So now that Tampa Bay is in the playoffs, we have a story talking about just exactly who wants to face Tampa Bay. And we'll get to that in just a moment here. But Tampa Bay fans, you're in the playoff. You've clinched. There's only a few options of who you can play, but we got to know in the comments below, who do you want to meet in the playoffs? Who do you want to face? And while you're there in the comment section, leave us a subscribe. It really helps us out, and you can see all the content we post about Tampa Bay in the future. But Nick, what do you have for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, so there's a great piece about that came out of the Ringer, who I think does a lot of really nice work, talking about the teams that are really dangerous, that don't have necessarily the top records in their conferences, and the teams that nobody wants to play. And I think one of the teams they highlighted was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You alluded to the fact that, well, who do the Buccaneers fans, who should the Buccaneers want to play? The answer right now on the other side is no one wants to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think there's two reasons why. The first one, of course, is Tom freaking Brady, the guy who was absolutely stupendous against the Carolina Panthers. Unbelievable day. Father time, still looks undefeated. Brady's been absolutely spectacular in the clutch. No one wants to play the Buccaneers right now. I think they're absolutely dangerous. I wouldn't bet against Tom Brady in the world right now in a very, I would say, light NFC. A lot of question marks on a lot of teams. You got the injuries at quarterback for a lot of programs, but the Buccaneers are healthy, or relatively healthy, at least at the position that matters at quarterback and some of his best skill players. I think they are a threat as long as Brady is there. What are your thoughts on the Bucs and anyone wanting to face them?
Yeah, Nick, I think Brady is a perfect example of just exactly why nobody wants to face the Bucs. But Nick, I have another example for you of why no one wants to face the Bucs in the playoffs. And I'm going to read some numbers off to you, okay? 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. That's 9, Nick. Count it. 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons by Mike Evans. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, Nick. 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. That's unprecedented efficiency. Never not had a 1,000-yard season, Nick. That's almost Hall of Fame level play from Mike Evans quietly. Quietly, no one's noticing. Mike Evans is one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's extremely consistent. And I think it's one of the other reasons why Tom Brady probably loves being down in Tampa Bay. He loves the team. That's why he's sticking around so far. As long as he's got this ultra consistent, ultra high level guy like Mike Evans, I think this team is dangerous anytime he's on the field. And he is one of the key reasons as to why nobody wants to face Tampa Bay in the playoffs. What do you think about that unprecedented 9,000 yards receiving seasons, Nick, by Mike Evans?
Yeah, it's unreal coming out of A&M. I thought he was going to be a nice player. I never would have saw this coming, though. He's been absolutely spectacular. And it just shows, right, sometimes to win in the NFL and be a threat in the NFL, you don't need to have a lot of different things going your way. You just need to have just a clear path and a consistent path. Now, it means you have a narrow path. You don't have a lot of options. But the Buccaneers, fortunately, are really good options because their options are defense, be good enough to make a few plays to keep the game close. They are. They've got some playmakers. I still love what they can do at linebacker, even though they haven't been as good as years past. I think they got a few guys in the secondary, even though they're beat up there, that can make some plays when really needed to. But when it comes right down to it, the defense, hey, just keep it close. And we'll just rely on the greatest quarterback of all time to pull it out in the end. And when push comes to shove, we have an absolute matchup nightmare in Mike Evans that could beat anybody one-on-one and make big plays. And again, that's a narrow path, right? There's not a whole lot of options, not a whole lot of variability there, but it's clear that it can work. And the Buccaneers know it can work. That's what makes it so deadly, because it's quite possible come the playoffs that the Buccaneers team can look incredibly simple, where it's just Brady with a lot of checkdowns, moving the ball, staying ahead of the chains, and throwing to Mike Evans 15 times for big plays down the field. And the defense does enough to keep it close, and the Buccaneers pull it out in the end behind Tom Brady. And look, I could see that happening in the NFC, where the Buccaneers win 1, 2, 3, heck, maybe make a run to a Super Bowl championship potentially, just by following that formula. Because when you're that good at quarterback and you're that good of a matchup nightmare at one of your skill positions, and you've got just enough players in other positions to keep the game close, it can be hard to be beat, especially in the playoffs when things like turnovers and pressure and penalties really magnify. I tell you right now, nobody wants to play the Bucs for that reason exactly, because no one can match up against Mike Evans, and no one's going to be better than Tom Brady. They're a scary team come down the stretch.